Let's not waste any time. Now I will have vengeance in the name of all that have met me to slaughter. It's over. It's over. This is stop you. Explosive David Word. Stop you. Explosive David Word. It's over.
Hi to everyone who joins, by the way.
You scum should consider this an honor. You will be the first one to ever lay eyes upon me in this next day.
Touch this. What do you think was it? Wait. Now, if you're ready, let's begin round two, shall we? Touch this. These mates.
Okay.
Let's not waste any time.
This has to be Android 17. Right? No, it's Android. Oh! Okay. Help out Goku. Continue to observe the battle. Help out Goku. Continue. Help out continue! At least now it actually gives you the option.
He's handing me another opportunity to absorb his strength.
Really? Why would you shoot that way? Really? Why do I have to keep using this move just to combat you? Yeah, I'm ready to frickin' come meet you and frickin' kill you for saying that 700 frickin' bazillion times. You know, you'd think you'd get tired of saying the same thing over and over again. My god. It's like listening to an alarm clock on frickin' repeat. Will you stop blasting me? God, I'm not an android. I can't just absorb these like you can. If anything, you're trying to flex in front of me and it's making me angry. Oh, I'm sorry. Couldn't you absorb that? Remind me. Who's the frickin' android with the absorbing powers again here? That's what I thought. Do me a favor and frickin' stay dead, will ya? Special beam cannon! Hellzone! Grenade! Special beam cannon! Yeah, that did nothing. He only says light grenade in the frickin' games, and he only ever used it once in the series. He didn't even use it in Super. What a waste of one of the best moves in creation. He used Super Explosive Wave again. He used Giant again. He used frickin' Special Beam Cannon every other Tuesday. He used Hellzone Grenade a lot. So why the frick can't he just frickin' use Light Grenade again? If anything, that should have been Superhero. He should have used Light Grenade in Superhero.
Here I am. Come on, show me what you got.
Like you're on the move, android.
Nice try, but still not enough.
Wait, I'm still just getting stuck.
I'm sorry, are you trying to insinuate that kicking my face into the ground and then frickin' punching me so hard that my stomach almost imploded, that was going easy on me? 17's full of jokes. I wasn't aware of Android's fondness for jokes. That's it? That's Piccolo's story? Are you freaking serious right now? That's it? Hold on, wait. He doesn't even go to Dragon Ball Super? That's his story? That's bull! There's plenty you can do for Piccolo in Dragon Ball Super. Even the Boo Saga, you could have done something. Where's my remote? Am I? Oh! I didn't even realize I had my TV remote in my freaking pocket. That's why my freaking TV's acting up. But seriously though, that's it? Besides these little mini side stories? Freaking stupid, man. You couldn't have included him into Dragon Ball Super? That's how you end him? I don't care if there's side stories before that or not. Piccolo deserves his time to shine. You could have added Superhero, which became a DLC. Oh. Now I get to crush the clown. Alright, clown face. I don't need an android. to freaking tell me that I can't do something. I know I can beat me. You think you can beat me? I know I can beat you. That's the difference there, clown face. I have like 15 voice actors for 19. Like, I swear to God, they have his Kai voice actor, they have the Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi voice actors, they have the Z voice actor, they have the freaking Raging Blast voice actor, and then you got this voice actor. Like, why are there so many voice actors for Android 19? Are all, like, one or two, that is fine. Like Chris Aries or Broly. But to have freaking 16 voice actors for one dude, that's stupid. There's an easy solution to that. Pick one and then pick a replacement. You don't need 16 replacements for one dude. That is pathetic. Alright, Clownhead, you're really starting to tick me off. I'm gonna send you to the one and only scrapyard for dismangled and pathetic heaps of junk! Could have just said scrapyard, but hey, that's lame. Send you on a one-way trip to the scrapyard! That's what I hear coming from you, frickin' clownhead. Come on, turn around. Turn around. Turn the frick around! God! Frick! It's things like this that drive me crazy.
Android 20 got away. Hey, Goku, what's your condition? Seems like the heart virus hasn't kicked in as we expect.
Yeah, but I feel it setting in. Sure.
Stupid of you not to bring the medicine in case this happens. Very least, you should rest yourself.
I'll swing by your place. In the meantime, head for Master Roach's place. Take it easy. Hey, no thanks. Sorry, bro.
We'll keep up the pursuit of Android 20.
Well, as much as I hate following Jiraiya's orders,
Just so you know, I won't be holding back. Strong, but I can take part of them shoes. It's been going into battle with the men. The earth plays all time. I'm alone for a second help from them.
beautiful speech. You know what? I would have gotten bored just watching anyway. So I'll jump in and we'll have a nice little 2-on-2.
Sir, and it's yours.
Am I fighting 17 again? Oh, fighting 18. So this is what happens if he fought 19. He would have fought 18 instead of Vegeta. So Vegeta would have fought 17 first. Their battles would have swapped. It's freaking crazy to me. Piccolo and Vegeta never fought at all in the Dragon Ball franchise. Daima could have made that happen, or at least Superhero. I have a feeling that, especially with Kira Toriyama no longer around, we're never going to get to see Piccolo or Vegeta fight. Except in the games. May have happened in Sparking Zero and other video games, but that's not canon. So I don't think we're ever going to see them actually fight. Wow, I love how you just jumped into the frickin' mood. Or move. Move, it's the same difference. You know, jumping into a frickin' drilling beam cannon is probably not the smartest decision. Actually, it's a very, 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 very dumb one. Why would you want to jump into that? All the moves, like Destructo Disc, Tri-Beam, just any explosion attack. Why would you want to jump into that? Like, Christ. I'll never understand stupid people. Or stupid AIs. Like, why would you want to willingly jump into a move you know could likely kill you? Yeah, what are you gonna do now, hot stuff? I love how I just called 18 hot stuff. I mean, Krillin thinks so. Wow, took you this long to figure it out there, Picky? Yeah, how about no? Gohan, go back to reading your frickin' books. I thought Piccolo was fighting frickin' 18.
Be all that.
You think?
You go and train with him in my place.
Why the frick not? Yeah, if only your character was actually able to keep that power and balance it instead of being either the freaking strongest guy in the multiverse or the weakest sack of crap. Future Gohan makes this Gohan look like a god dang waste of space. He's not going to want to think about how much further he can go because Chi-Chi infected his brain with bullcrap. It's the fact that Chi-Chi is his mother that makes frickin' Gohan worthless.
This training won't be exclusively for Gohan. I want to make sure that I too am holding my own in this battle.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Seriously? Cell already achieves his second form? Seriously. I moved out of the motherfucking way. Wow, tell this right to your enemy's face. Special beam cannon! Watch me charge up. Really? Goku, didn't you just say 2 seconds ago that you were frickin' fusing or recovering from the virus? Yeah, we're gonna accept help from a frickin' Goku that's frickin'. Yeah, see? See? Yeah, maybe you should have just stayed at home. Oh my god. Goku is the dumbest frickin' person in the entire history of forever. Like, I swear to God. Train his body, train his mind. Train his body, train his mind. Train his body, train his mind. What should I do? Train his body or train his mind for Gohan? Train his mind because it's Gohan. Train his motherfucking mind. What do you mean train one or the other? It's not about letting his emotions explode. It's about training his mind to think about something other than studying. Chi-Chi had him so poisoned in the goddamn mind that at 2 years old, the kid, or I'm sorry, 4, the kid already wanted to study. Chi-Chi had him that poisoned. It's the fact that he's a spawn of Chi-Chi that makes him the most insufferable character. And the only reason that the Gohan from the present is insufferable is because, like I've said, he's either the strongest warrior in the multiverse or the weakest sack of crap in the entire Dragon Ball freaking multiverse. Nothing is ever set in stone for Gohan. People make fun of the fact that Goku's either training all the time or dead, sometimes both, but he actually is a balanced, continuing to grow, amazing character. And Gohan had the potential to be like that, and Trunks is literally what Gohan should have been. Balanced, creative, and good. Oh, you don't have to tell me that. I knew that already, Gohan. You don't need to tell me nothing.
Who will be going? Will we go through? Even before the fights begin, this is where I train. Till I am prepared. Your first opponent.
Piccolo, are you sure?
Plan. Well, I say we let him do his thing. If there's only the slightest chance of it, it's his. Just move so good. The training I've endured all this time has been for the sole purpose of taking you down. Let's go.
I would hope so. I would hope your training is for that, and not just screwing around. Welcome to anyone who joins, by the way. Special cat. Really? What's up, Zeke? Just playing some Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I saw your post, by the way. Question: why are comments enabled for your videos, but not for your community posts? That's just a small thing I noticed. I figured I would ask. And also, hope you like the fact I'm doing an early stream today. Shut up! Bro acting like he wasn't just spamming Kamehamehas and death beams. Get the frick out of here with your, oh, I stopped being serious now. Man, the one. Sup? Hi. This is a much better plot than 16 getting blown up. Tell me please that they included. Yeah, Gohan's actually smart in this game. He's not gonna listen to you. I know, I had to fix something. Said I was disconnecting. It's okay. The man, the one. Is that you, D? If it is, you confused the frick out of me for a second. I legit thought that you were just a frickin' rando or a troll. Tell me they do a father-son special beam cannon. Like Xenoverse. Yeah, how about not stand aside? Please tell me they both threw a special beam cannon. This is what maybe should have happened. That would have been so much cooler than the father-son Kamehameha. Don't get me wrong, that was cool, but father-son special beam cannon like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, that would have been way freaking cooler. They did it for Xenoverse Superhero, so technically it's already a thing. It wouldn't even be a father-son special beam cannon, even though many people consider Piccolo a father. It would just be a dual special beam cannon. But still. When I find a free opening, for any Dragon Ball fans mainly, for those who have seen the other updates, I specifically have Dragon Ball, a big Dragon Ball specific update for my Zombie Goku story, and pics that I want to show off. Nice to see you though, D. I also asked Kaz to join because he's done with college. So he'll be on the channel a lot more too. Yeah, let's just spam death beams over and over and over again. Because that's fun. That's totally okay. You don't want to go to work later. I only got 4 hours of sleep, dude. I had absolutely the hardest time sleeping last night. I didn't want to go to work, but it was only a 4.5 hour day, so I'm just like, I just figured I would get through it. You'll get through it, man. Will you stop, for the love of God, spamming death beams? Do I sit over here spamming special beam cannons? No, I actually use my variety of techniques. Yeah, because you're a... Please tell me Gohan does it too. Please tell me Gohan does it too. Yeah, you told me. You'll get through it. Where'd I get the Rick shirt from? I believe it was either for Christmas or my birthday. As for where, I couldn't tell you. I believe it was Christmas of last year or the year before that. But yeah. I mean, what happened to Walking Dead What If? Because we don't see Walking Destinies 2. If you're referring to Walking Dead Destinies What If, I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about me doing what ifs, or are you talking about a second Walking Dead Destinies game revolving what ifs? You gotta be a little bit more specific. Thank you for finally dying. Like, geez, spamming death beam, death beam, death beam. I don't freaking spam moves over and over again. I actually use variety. Freaking A. I'll be done with my Zombie Goku story by either tonight or tomorrow. He's using the Kamehameha? Really? Really? You're not gonna give Gohan special beam cannon? No, this is stupid. This is so stupid. This is why, growing up, I have come to hate the Gohan that we all know. This is why I hate him. He's either the strongest warrior in the frickin' cosmos and literally could beat... He could have literally beaten the angels and the freaking Grand Priest and Zeno and everything if he trained from day one. I'm talking Saiyan Saga, training continuously, and got freaking Beast or something, like, I don't know, past the Buu arc. He would have literally been the strongest warrior in the cosmos. Because how broken they make him. He's either the strongest warrior in the freaking Dragon Ball multiverse or the weakest sack of crap ever. And it's all down to his makeup. Trunks was not this complex. Okay? His Super Saiyan Rage and Spirit Bomb sword were confusing, yes. But was he anything like Gohan? No! Because he was actually balanced. His power was balanced. His rages were balanced. Everything about Trunks was balanced. And he was a hybrid Saiyan just like Gohan. You know where the fault comes in? Chi-Chi. Because of everything that makes her her. If anything, Gohan should have been Bulma's kid. At least then he would have actually mattered. God, future Gohan, despite being on screen for a movie and then small flashbacks here and there, just to repeat his legacy, he was actually balanced. There were no silly rage boosts, there was no studying crap, there was nothing that made future Gohan like overly powerful or overly weak. But then Gohan, the Gohan we all know, he gets stronger, rages out, and then gets weak again. Gets stronger, rages out, then gets weak again. Gets stronger, rages out, and then weakens again. Gets a new form, gets weaker. Gets a new form, gets weaker. Rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Superhero, the movie, wasn't made for Gohan. But it was made for Piccolo. It was to give Piccolo a dub. People say, oh, Gohan is a part of that movie too because he has the extension of the Potential Unleashed form, Beast. And yes, that was the upgrade that Gohan needed, but it's not something that made Gohan the centerpiece of the film. If anything, Piccolo's the main protagonist in the movie. They just gave Gohan another dub, but you know they're going to take it away from him. And that's not even all Akira Toriyama's fault. It's the way the entirety of the Dragon Ball community has made him out to be. A complex, irritatingly weird character. Future Gohan was never this complex. God, I hate Gohan with a burning passion. But how are you guys doing? And how much is stuff like ongoing and like stuff like that? You guys keep up mainly? Or like what's going on with you guys? Freaking A. Okay. Doing alright, and I'll be catching up on your videos on Monday, as I have to spend all weekend editing. Fair. I try to, and Cell is still one of the best. Yeah, Cell almost has nothing wrong with his character. Literally. Everything about Cell is good. I just think that the way they made him the makeup of everyone and could have utilized that a little bit more. But other than that, there really isn't anything to hate about Cell. Other than they could have utilized him just a little bit more. Okay, what's going on here? I beat Cell in the middle of the second round against 17. Cell's dialogue appeared saying goodbye and ended the fight. Just got this round. Oh my god. You have to beat Cell as quickly as possible. Okay. Okay. Would you get the frick away from me? Jesus! Yeah, you ain't no... You're not that perfect if you freaking died, man. If you were perfect, you wouldn't have gotten killed by a kid. A kid who literally could have... Who, mind you, is the most complex and annoying character in the Dragon Ball franchise. That makes Cell's death even more stupid. The fact that Cell could have won. Literally. Now that I think about it, I would have actually not minded Cell winning. Heck, it should have... Piccolo, Vegeta, or Trunks or Goku should have got the dub. Not freaking Gohan. What does he have to show for it? Nothing. I feel like Hercule should have gotten more attention. That's just me freaking hating Gohan, but you guys get what I mean. My God. I'm gonna have to redo this freaking mission, ain't I? No. I hate you so much, Cell. I was right there. Jesus Christ. Okay, so, guys, I want to show you, those of you who are Dragon Ball fans and who have been watching the updates with my zombie Goku story, I want to show you guys a few pictures. Behold! I have officially created the first ever fan-made Super Saiyan transformation regarding me. Because there have been plenty of fan-made transformations. I definitely cannot take that credit. But anyway, out of all the fan-made forms, weapons, and other things that I have created, this is the first time I've ever created a fan-made Super Saiyan transformation. Because as I said, those 3-year-old projects that I was done with after the Frieza story, this is all completely brand new. That I'm creating an idea that is so new that I actually never thought I'd create a fan-made form. But yeah, so behold, Super Saiyan Hell Vegeta basically combines the original Super Saiyan form with Vegeta's evil malice and zombie essence. It literally connects all of those things together in an evil hybrid form. As I said before, this zombie Goku story is going to be one of the best stories on the channel for sure. It's going to be involving new hybrids, new forms, new techniques, new storylines. And the fact it's all taking part in history of Trunks is another thing. So that's this picture. I'm going to show off a few others. This is him powering up. Like I said, the red and gray, like, I am so freaking captured by how I created this form. It literally is, like, I call this one of my best works as of this point. Seriously. And no, the Super Saiyan Hell transformation will not be just limited with Majin Vegeta. Because I created some, and I'm utilizing this past Majin Vegeta. Case in point, right here. This is him actually mastering the form and utilizing it after the Majin form, because we know that especially with Vegeta breaking mind control and utilizing Super Saiyan 3 and doing all this, Daima and he discovered Super Saiyan God without having a ritual done. So we can unlock Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. So him mastering this kind of form and genetic makeup, that is definitely 100% could happen. And I also implemented new, not only a final Gallic Gun move combining Final Flash and Gallic Gun, but I also gave this form bloody claws, as you can see in this picture. So yeah, this is definitely without a doubt going to be the best Dragon Ball story. Whether or not it will be the best story on the channel, though, is up to you guys to make that decision. But yeah, best thing I've ever created, without a doubt. Now, I know that, like, King Devin and frickin' Slick are the main Dragon Ball fans besides UD. Because I haven't gotten the amount of Dragon Ball fans as I have the Walking Dead fans and several others. But I know that this story is going to change that. If the Frieza story, which was an epic story, by the way, showing off Frieza's race and doing all this and that, if that story didn't bring in people and all my other ones didn't, I know this story will.
Let's not waste any time.
But yeah, I was just thinking, there's got to be a way to utilize Vegeta and that red eye and getting scratched. Because I showed that off in a post. So I'm like, how can I improve upon this? And then it hit me. I could create a new form that actually utilizes that kind of idea. So I did some thinking, and then I'm like, oh, People are gonna absolutely love the frick out of this. No, it really isn't 17. 2 words. Shut your mouth. Whoa! Yeah, you want to try again? You want to try that again? That was a rhetorical question, by the way, because I'm not going to let you try again. Come on. Come on. Make your move. Make your move, tough stuff. Now I got to deal with this bug man. Yeah. I'm glad that frickin' Superhero gave Piccolo some, you know, justice. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do not hit me. Hit him, hit him, hit him. Yes! So how you guys... Okay, I already asked about how you're liking recent stuff. Yeah, the Zombie Goku story will be done by the weekend. Or, it is the weekend, I'm sorry. It will be done by the end of the weekend. And then I'll be working on the 4th episode and continuation to the Rick and McQueen Walking Dead Cars verse. And then the Galadriel and... What was that next one? The Galadriel... Come on. What was that freaking other one? There was another one that I'm not remembering. There was What If Galadriel Got the Ring? And then there was a 4th one. I gotta remember real quick. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm already, at this point, 4, and then 5, 6, 7. By the time I'm done with the What If Goku's Heart Virus turned into a zombie, I'll work on the next part to the Walking Dead Cars verse, and then Mrs. Loomis and Galadriel. And that will put me 7 stories ahead if the Dreadwing story is still being uploaded by next week, which it definitely probably will. And then by the end of May, close to the beginning of June, right in there, I'll be working on the next 2 stories. So my breaks are going to start getting shorter and shorter between playing games and working on stories. Because, as I've said this before, not every story, 2,000 ideas on my dock or not every story is going to be a story. Some are going to be 1-parts. It could be a 1-part analysis. It could be a 1-part story. It could be a 2-parter. Not everyone's going to be a story, you know? Because there's only so much you can do with some ideas. If I ever say to someone that, hey, I'll do this idea, sure. If you guys ask me an idea, or if I look at an idea, or if I try to think of an idea, here's the thing. Depending on the what if, there's only so much you can do. Unlike my Dale story, which I went all in there. To this day, my most worked on and biggest project ever. And no, the Walking Dead Cars verse doesn't really count yet because I'm not done with the conclusion of it, building it into the Omniverse, which I've already explained what I'm going to do there. So not yet. Once I do that and make the Walking Dead Cars verse movie, no, I already made the movie for the original story. This will be the movie of Rick and McQueen after the story, you know? So once I make that, then we'll be able to say, like, hey, Dale's project has officially been surpassed at this point. Because yes, it won't be past 40 parts, but since it's combining the already 20 freaking parter of the original story and what's continuing to finish the Walking Dead Carsverse and move on to a bigger Omniverse, then it will officially surpass the Dale story. But until then, nope, that story remains my biggest work. And it's all freaking hallucination. Which makes it even crazier, you know? But anyways, what I'm getting at here is my breaks are going to be shorter and shorter depending on the what ifs in the list. Sometimes I could get a list with like one story what if that I'm going to be doing, or two or three, especially if I'm doing Walking Dead Carsverse story or episodes things in the list. Because as I said, every big what if or big idea is going to include, or portal creation vid or something like that, that's going to be what continues and cements me continuing the Walking Dead Carsverse. Only the biggest what ifs and the big portal creation stories, I'm going to be continuing it. Because if I did it after every single what if, or at the end of every single list, it would get too repetitive. And I'm trying to build this really, 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 really big to show that I truly am different than other what if YouTubers. I think I've already cemented that, but hey, gotta keep up the rhythm. So yeah, that's the whole plan there. So by Monday, I should be done with the what if Goku's heart virus turned him into a zombie, even by tonight or Sunday, honestly, to be completely freaking for real with you. And then gotta work on the next Walking Dead Carsverse episode, which that should take about a day, maybe a little bit over. And then Mrs. Loomis Galadriel getting the One Ring, I could cap those off in a day. So by Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be halfway done with the list right now. What if the Rock was in The Walking Dead? That list. Look at that one for reference if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I'll be halfway done, besides one what if, obviously, but I'm pretty much halfway done. So that will mean that I'll be working on the next list. And I'll show that to you guys by the middle of next week. But like I said, I can't always tell when I'm going to have to work on the next list or when my break will be over or even started. So honestly, like I said, if a list has almost the entire list consisting of one-parters and not even like 3 or 4 stories, then that means my breaks are going to be smaller because I have less to put out and upload, you know? So overall, it just depends. It just depends. But I always tell you guys pretty much everything and spoil only like the parts that really are worth spoiling to both invest you guys and not to give away too much at the same time. I would hope you're excited because after frickin' making the original story, like, we're really building this into a franchise. So I'm glad people still probably haven't even seen the original story. And I'm like, dude, at this point, you guys have to check out the original story before you check out the continuation. You read off of a script? I don't need no script. It all comes from here. Whatever I'm thinking in the moment, I remember. Come on, move, 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 move. So no more Cell, huh? Yeah, I don't need a script. That'd be just too confusing. It all comes from my mind. Whatever I remember in the moment, I use for my videos. And then whatever I forget, I improvise. But to use a script, that would be meaningless. Frick. This might actually screw me over. Come on, come on. I finally got to this point. Don't you dare frickin' kill me. Come on, tell me I win. Tell me that this kills him. Yes! Let's go! Woo! He was this close to frickin' killing me. You would think that Piccolo and 17 wouldn't even fight if they actually defeated Cell. Because without Cell, there wouldn't be a reason to fight 17 anymore. Because the whole point he fought him was to stop Cell from becoming complete. You know? He ain't dead, is he? Okay, so he didn't kill him. He would have killed him if Cell was still around. But now there wouldn't be a reason to kill him. So, okay, alright. Okay. Yeah, whatever I forget, if I forget anything, I just improvise. Yeah. Why couldn't they include Piccolo for Dragon Ball Super story? But no! They just couldn't do that, could they? Huh? They couldn't do that. Disrespecting Piccolo, man. Freaking stupid BS. Nick, if you could pick one Walking Dead character to survive their original death, good question. Gotta think about that for a second. I would have to say... Shut up, Vegeta. I would have to say it would go between... Wait, I gotta pause this to think. I would have to say either Carl... It would go between Carl... Who else can I think about? Shane? What else am I thinking about? I gotta think about all Walking Dead continuity. Okay, you said Walking Dead, not original Walking Dead, so it means I could think about some more. I would have to say Carl. Who else did I say? Shane. Carl, Shane, Nick. Ironically. Of course I would pick Nick. But yeah, he could have used more. Troy, for frickin' one thing. Because his death was already frickin' annoying, but his death twice, that was the limit. He was basically immortal in The Walking Dead. So Carl Shane, Nick, Troy, Abraham, kind of. Yeah, I could put Abraham on that list. Who else? Sophia, because if you haven't watched the TV show Bosch, Madison Lintz is the freaking main character, and it screwed her over in The Walking Dead. So she can be included on that roster too. And besides that, and then Beta. That's about it. I have like bunches and bunches and bunches of what ifs for other people surviving that I felt could have, but like favorite wise, that's who I'd pick. That's who I would want to. And that's just out of favorite wise. That's not like overall wise. That's a different story. You'd have to look on my Google Doc to see what I have planned. And that's a tall order considering it's over 2,000 ideas and Walking Dead's not just the only thing. And that's another thing. I think the reason that people don't overly check out like other franchises on my channel like Dragon Ball, Scream, or Transformers, or real life stuff, John Wick, Marvel, is because I started this channel with The Walking Dead. And I've said this before. I think that people just became used to the idea that they thought that The Walking Dead was going to be the only thing I did. And I've already explained that never. Maybe 5 years ago, I would have decided to be like that. But no, The Walking Dead is by far, it's my one of my favorite TV shows besides Dragon Ball. But it will never be the only what if type thing I talk about, ever. Hey, don't you call me that. I'll have you know there are kids listening right now. I'm over here trying to act like the civil adult. Good grief. Yeah, Tyrese, yeah, he could have definitely used potential. He literally could have been saved. He was the only character, he was one of the only characters in The Walking Dead to die from, you know, cauterization. Or not what's that called? His arm was not cauterized, but sliced off. He was, I forget what that, amputation. That's the word I was looking for. He was one of the only characters in The Walking Dead, one of the only, to die from amputation. Which is stupid. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the word I was looking for. Hey, Kaz! What the frig is up, man? We had Damon here, and now we got Kaz. It's a freaking full boat in here, man. I love how you just popped in randomly. That's freaking funny. I'm playing some Sparking Zero. Speaking of which, where have you been the past few days? Yeah, Zamasu, 2 words. I don't care. I don't much care right now. Hey, Zamasu, Bye. You died. And then how the frick did you come back? With the Dragon Balls or something? What the frick? Yeah, how about you stop with the teleporting? You're just like Cell with the spamming death beam, spamming death beam, spamming death beam. And instead, it's Zamasu with spamming teleport, spamming teleport. Like, dude, enough with the spamming. Jeez, I've never hated spamming more than until I got into this game. Like, seriously. Who likes this? I'm not talking about the game. I like the game. No. Don't you dare hit me. Don't you dare hit me. Freaking bullcrap. Okay. Dude, I'm literally gonna kill you, man. I'm literally gonna do it. Yeah, go ahead. Get up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get up. Turns out the other world has Dragon Ball too. Yeah, all right. Die. Thank you. Oh my god. That's the second time I almost died and managed to win. So I was wondering, Kaz, since I'm already streaming and playing the game after the stream, if you wanted to play on Sparking Zero with me. Because also, I'm almost done with the story. I just have Trunks, Frieza, and Goku Black left to do. They didn't even include... See, here's the thing also. They didn't even include Dragon Ball Super into Piccolo's freaking game mode. Like, literally, you could have made Superhero an already built-in thing and put Piccolo having a story in Dragon Ball Super. Literally anything besides Gohan's crappy storylines. I ranted about Gohan earlier. See, it's awesome in Fortnite when you're able to win the game, but you almost die. But that... I mean, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's also stressful. Because you go through all of your freaking, like, sanity to just win. Any game is going to be stressful if you almost die. Like, if you have to put actual effort in, yes, that makes it a true video game, but it also takes away your sanity to a point, which I think is the reason why game developers do that, because you would think that by the game developers doing that, it would cause people to not want to play. But then I think it also just makes people more determined to win, which by extension makes them play more, and then the game developers can profit off of that. Look at me trying to make logic a freaking win. I surprise myself with what I come up with sometimes. Like, it's all an open void up here. And it just keeps circulating more knowledge. The question isn't if I learned absolutely nothing, Zamasu. The question is, have you learned anything? That's the real question. What do you mean you just did that? Also, Maggie, what if Part 6 comes out on Monday and Part 7 will be the finale? Nice, dude! Mortal Kombat Arcade Machine Tactics. Seriously! I play the arcade on the freaking PS2 game, and I've also played the arcade Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And let me tell you what, man. Oh, it's not until almost you get to the final boss or the final boss that it really becomes to a point where you're like, oh, you want to slam your head against a brick wall or some crap. You just won a Fortnite match. Oh, what are you playing Fortnite while you watch the stream or something? You know what also annoys me? The only good thing about Gohan's story mode, because I've already ranted about Gohan, so I don't need to explain again how I feel about Gohan. Future Gohan is what Gohan should have been. That's the end of story. But you know what I absolutely don't understand? Besides the fact that Sparking Zero could have done with just a teensy tiny little bit of an upgrade, even though it is the best Budokai Tenkaichi game by far, is the fact that they put Gohan Black. That's right, they put Zamasu stealing Gohan's body in, but they didn't give him anything other than the ultimate form, but they did make fused Zamasu look even cooler by extension. Literally, the fact that Gohan Black is a thing in a video game is amazing besides mods. But the bad thing about it is, it's not unlockable. Like, the fused Zamasu hair, not unlockable. And everything like that. It's literally not unlockable. The only character in the entire game you can't unlock. Because reasons? Yeah, they did miss out on a huge heck of a ton of characters from other Budokai Tenkaichi games, but honestly, that I could and have mostly ignored, because you have to think, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has been out for years and everything. So the fact that they're incorporating all this in, it makes sense that the roster wasn't bigger. Because you gotta think, not every sequel to a game is going to be the same. They have included a lot of the same old moves, the same voice lines, some of the same maps, kind of the same storylines, but they also have to make it different. So I think people were hyping it up to thinking that the roster was going to be like 500 plus characters. And to be fair, I thought the same thing. But once it was confirmed that there was only 180 or whatever the frick, 182, whatever the frick it said, I realized that they most likely are going to go the Xenoverse route and DLC the frick out of this game. And even though it could have used more work, it is the best Budokai Tenkaichi game by far. But the Gohan Black thing, honestly, I could forgive the fact if that and the fused Zamasu Gohan Black wasn't unlockable, if it was one of the first DLCs with a few extra characters instead of moving on to current anime stuff right now. But I guess that's just the way that they want to go about it. I feel that this number 1 confirms that we might be getting a Budokai Tenkaichi 5. Who knows? But at this point, it also is confirmed we might be getting a Budokai 4. Because if they're going to do Tenkaichi continuation after all these years, Budokai 4 is like a confirmation right there. You gotta think, right? And think about how popular the Budokai games were, too. So, while Gohan Black might not be unlockable right now, I feel that he will be with all the other characters that the other Budokai Tenkaichi games had in the future. Either that, like I said, they could DLC the crap out of the game, or they could make a Tenkaichi 5. Which that seems like a freaking pipe dream, considering it took. Think about how closely the other Tenkaichi games were released together. Tenkaichi 1, Tenkaichi 2, Tenkaichi 3 almost all came out around the same time. But then you have 4, Sparking Zero, and that released 15 some years later. And the same thing has happened with the Budokai games. And the same thing has happened with GTA. And people keep thinking the GTA 6 is going to come out this time, or it's going to come out this time. But there's no guarantees. And the fact that I'm not even into the GTA games. The most I'll play is like a little tiny bit of GTA 5, maybe. But my point is, when it comes to game sequels, there's no guarantees. You literally have to wait. Heck, movie-wise, think about how long they took 30 years. They made a second Hocus Pocus and a second Beetlejuice, and now a second Goonies is coming out 30 years later. So I think that no matter how long it takes for a game sequel or a movie sequel to release, they find a way to make it work. We just have to wait. We just have to wait and see if people are either going to be smart enough to do justice by the franchise or doom it to fail. And there have been plenty of game sequels and plenty of movie sequels that have freaking destroyed what the franchise was building. And then there have been ones like John Wick or Jason Voorhees or other things like that that have absolutely done amazing. It just depends. Yes, they are making a second Goonies. It was rumored at first. It was rumored for years. But then it was finally confirmed. What's up, Slick? The whole video game industry has been putting unfinished games out on launch, so it surprised me that it wasn't really like that. By the way, for new people coming in, especially Kaz, since you haven't seen it yet, I made a bunch more of Super Saiyan Hell for Dragon Ball fans. I have debuted my first ever fan-made Super Saiyan transformation, Super Saiyan Hell, and this is the picture which is now on my banner, my Xbox profile, and the Discord banner. And this is the main picture, and I'm going to show you guys some others. Here is him powering up. And for those who don't know, I will give a small spoiler as to what this form represents. This is for my Zombie Goku story, and Vegeta gets scratched in the eye, but he finds a way, like Bobbity, to make it controllable. But then Bobbity exploits that in this point, which I'm already done with. I'm done with Daima, and I'm on Super now, which means I'm almost done with the story. And this is him powering up, and it basically combines the Super Saiyan form with Vegeta's malice and zombie essence. That's why it's called Super Saiyan Hell. And the red and gray makes this probably, in my opinion, besides Super Saiyan 3 and 4, the best Super Saiyan form of all time. I'm not even joking. I truly 100% believe that. And we're not include Super Saiyan 5, because one thing, that's not truly canon enough to explore. But from what I know, I'll include it just for clarity, for those who know about Super Saiyan 5. And then this is him mastering the transformation by the time Daima becomes a thing. And I also included him with claws. Except it's not a Wolverine case, because these claws are bloody, and it's freaking Vegeta. So, yeah, definitely probably my best work yet. So for those Dragon Ball fans, you guys are gonna freaking eat this story up. People probably, besides the Frieza story and others, have not gotten truly invested in Dragon Ball on the channel for reasons I've already explained. But this story should erase that and actually bring in like bunches of people. I'm not even joking. This is not even just why. I'm talking the whole story is probably going to ganter a bunch of people, considering that Smugstick, another Dragon Ball What If YouTuber, did this idea, but he made it singular and not a story. So this story, What If Goku's Heart Virus Turned Him Into a Zombie, is based on that. It's literally a inspiration towards that guy. And even though I'm not a fan of Smugstick, I never said I didn't like his ideas. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. And I'll be done with that story by the weekend's ending. And then I'll be working on the 4th Walking Dead Carsverse episode, along with Mrs. Loomis and Galadriel getting the ring. Then I'll make the next list, which you guys will see the middle of next week. And after that, time will tell. Time will tell. With GTA 5, they make so much money off of... Oh, I almost forgot. Xenoverse is another clear-cut example, because Xenoverse 1 and 2 were released back-to-back, but they have DLC'd the frick out of Xenoverse 2 so much that Xenoverse 3, rumored or not, is looking to never happen. Technically, Dragon Ball The Breakers is basically a Xenoverse 2.5, because it literally takes place in the Xenoverse continuity. So yeah, it like I said, you basically can never predict when people are going to make a continuation to a game series or a movie series until they make it public knowledge. Or unless they literally tease it at the end of like the first game or the first movie. It basically comes down to what the people want. What if Ghostface was okay? That's taking it a little far. Ghostface, no Ghostface killer would have lasted in the MCU. I'm sorry. Sure, they put a lot of that superhuman horror movie element into the Ghostface or the Scream franchise, but no one in that series is even remotely close to even Bucky or the normal humans. I'm sorry. I just do not think that they could do something like that. Specifically, street-level movies like Homecoming or Black Widow. No, they're not even close. Black Widow, Hawkeye, Bucky, they would crush them. Yeah, pretty much. And I never hated a DLC when it came to Xenoverse 2, but the recent one with Ultra Supervillain Jiren and Belmod and Daima Goku, that one I didn't hate, but they definitely could have put in more effort. But the fact they made Belmod a character is why I forgave it. Because no Dragon Ball game has ever put Belmod as a playable character. Oh, you call me immature? You call me? I'm immature. Dude, you literally swiped a body just because you lost a fight to another guy. Dude, chill. I'm immature? You call yourself a god and preach about zero mortals, yet you literally stole a body of another dude because he was better than you, literally making yourself like a Ginyu 2.0, and you call yourself a god. You ain't no different than frickin' Captain Ginyu. Give us like 2 characters and a few parallel quests. Facts. How do you like getting hit in the back multiple times without being able to hit someone back? Seriously, you call yourself a god. Dude, I hate whenever my back is turned and they keep attacking. Like, I don't even get a chance to defend myself. So are you guys liking ongoing and, like, current stuff? regarding even like the channel and stuff like that. Those of you who I did not ask that question. And is there anything like movie-wise, game-wise, anything like that, or project-wise you want to talk about? Figure indulge you guys a little bit more. Come on, you gotta hit him with this. Oh, freaking A! He was right in front of you, my dude! He was right in front of you. Are you blind as a bat? I have glasses and I could still see him better than you. Probably without them. Don't you just love whenever people are idiots? This is a fourth wall break moment. Goku Black says, if you hadn't jumped in, time would not have been split. And you gotta think, the entire reason that Dragon Ball exists after the Frieza saga is because of Trunks. So ironically, he's the biggest villain in the I said The Walking Dead. Ironically, he is the biggest villain of Dragon Ball, but he's also the biggest hero. Because without Trunks, no part after the Frieza saga would have existed. Everything would have died. Like, I'm talking, if Trunks and Future Gohan died, it would have been over. It would have been over. Literally. And yes, while I'm implementing no time travel into my stories before, my Zombie Goku story is different because it takes place in the history of Trunks, and I'm actually going to be incorporating Future Gohan and aspects from that world. Spoiler alert, Zamsu's not happening in the history of Trunks because time travels out, which was the almost main reason that it didn't happen. And I've said that before too. But yeah, Trunks is basically why everything exists now, which is obvious, but you know, we have him to thank and hate for that at the same time. But then again, there's nothing really to hate about Trunks. The Super Saiyan Rage and Spirit Sword was confusing, but that's not a hate aspect. Because unlike Gohan, he was actually balanced and there was meaning and depth for his character. Because he also, basically, it's all down to Chi-Chi. Because if Gohan was Bulma's kid, I guarantee you that he would have actually been balanced. Future Gohan was balanced because he was barely around, but there was enough to know that he was actually balanced. No silly rage boost, no wanting to be a scholar. He actually mattered. He has his freaking arm cut off, for God's sake, which was cool. Tell me that you watching Future Gohan fight in that movie and sacrifice himself? They even made Kakarot, Dragon Ball Kakarot, they made that scene 1,000 times more epic. Which shows that that Gohan actually matters. Dragon Ball Superhero, as I've said, that's not about Gohan. That is not a dub for Gohan. That's just another form that the writers can take away from him. Because if he's not the strongest warrior in the multiverse, he's literally the weakest sack of crap in the entire franchise. Think about it. He gets a new form and it's taken away. Gets a new form, taken away. And rinse and repeat. It's just a never-ending cycle. And Trunks actually mattered. If anything, Trunks should have been the only Hybrid Saiyan, and that's it. No Goten, no Gohan, nothing. Goku should have never had a kid. That's probably the biggest issue. Goku should have never had a kid. He should have said no to Chi-Chi, F you, and just went about his life. He didn't even know what married meant. And the entire reason Chi-Chi wanted to get married with him was what? To trick him out of fighting just to put a baby in her and then force him to make Gohan a scholar just for her own satisfaction? That's why Chi-Chi is the biggest villain in Dragon Ball. I know I kind of just said Trunks, but when you really think about it, regarding Gohan's character, Chi-Chi's the biggest villain right there. Want to know why he's the weakest sack of crap or the strongest? Because of her. It's literally because of her. So if anything, I shouldn't be hating on Gohan. I should be hating on Chi-Chi, which makes her the Lori Grimes of Dragon Ball Z. And I've already said how similar those two are. The freaking Karen soccer moms of the entire freaking fiction world. I'll never understand how the writers and people behind these plots could create a character so insufferable. Chi-Chi was actually likable back in the day, but no, that they had to pull an Uno reverse card and turn Chi-Chi into a hateable freaking insufferable character. Lori Grimes, no, she was hateable from the start. She was instantly hateable. There was not a single redeeming factor about her besides the fact that she was with Rick Grimes, and that's it. That's literally it. They tried to redeem her at the end, but by that time, it was too late. Murrow had a better redemption arc than her. And his redemption arc was only an episode. His redemption arc was better than frickin' Lori Grimes's. Yes, he should have taken a God of Destruction's body, but then the story would have been over. Zeno would have literally had to come down there himself, and it wouldn't have ended any differently. Only difference is everyone would have died. I mean, Goku's the strongest, like, Universe 7-wise, Goku's the strongest. But regarding the entire Dragon Ball universe, yeah. People argue that Super Saiyan 4 and 3 Goku and Vegeta from Daima should have been included in Super, but by that point, God and Blue and Ultra Instinct took that over. And I think Goku and Vegeta more or less pushed past that because they realized those forms would be outside of their reach, and then they got introduced into God and Blue and stuff, and then those forms just became inconsequential. Because people argue that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and 4 Goku, they should have been utilized more. And honestly, they're kind of right, which is why I am going to fix that and utilize that more, if I'm able. Because that's not guaranteed. Trunks is my favorite Walking Dead. Stop. I know I screwed up when I said that line. There isn't even a guy in Walking Dead named Trunks. The only reason there's a Trunks in Dragon Ball is because all Bulma's family is named after some kind of freaking, boxer or underwear. Apparently they didn't think of that yet. Which I'm okay with that. I'm just saying that I'm actually going to make use of that small little bug. Speaking of bugs, people thought the fusion bugs were actually going to result in something.
done you more. Remember, you're dead.
You know, Zamasu and Goku Black, ironically, Zamasu, they weren't wrong. They just went about it the wrong way. If anything, they should have just killed Trunks, but that wouldn't have satisfied Zamasu. Zamasu was mad at every mortal, not just Trunks or Goku. But the thing is, he's not wrong about Trunks. And what I just said, if Trunks didn't exist and didn't time travel, none of Dragon Ball would have existed. Like, after the frickin' History of Trunks saga, it literally would have never came to fruition. So that's fine. I just think he went about it the wrong way. He should have went after the specifics as to who he really wanted to kill. Okay. My thing doesn't really need too many updates, more or less. If it does, then I'll check that out if I truly have to. We're about to end the stream anyway. Is there any, like, project, game, movie, something like that you guys want to talk about? Hey, D, if you're still here, I want to talk to, if Slick hasn't heard this already either. I know everyone, like Zeke, King Devin, and pretty much Slick has heard about this. But how many of you, Damon and Kaz, you're now included in this, have any of you guys watched the horror movie Salvage 2006? Okay. This is probably an easier question to ask. Have you guys know about Dexter? So basically, I've gotten requests to put. Will you shut up for a second? I'm turning this down. Seriously, shut up for a second. So we're gonna end the stream with this. I want to explain to the people who haven't heard, specifically you guys. So I've gotten requests for the past, like, since my channel was a thing, to do Dexter what ifs, and I've seen them, but I'm not doing them because I can't get into Dexter. I just can't. Because think about it for a second. He's supposed to be this big, bad serial killer who only goes after, like, certain people, right? Think about his killing setup. It's just a garage room with freaking... First of all, the setup and just execution of it all is kind of... It's like what they did in the Hostel movies. If you've seen those are freaking, like... That's Art the Clown level graphic content. That's the kind of horror that I'm close to not wanting to watch. But I can handle heavy gore, so, like, unless it's Cabin Fever, Slither, or something like that, I can actually handle that. I don't know who Mr. L is, you'd have to explain. My point is, Dexter's setup for how he kills is kind of And you know what makes it even worse? Every kill of his is off screen. They did that back with Friday the 13th, the first, like, part or two, but then they actually made it matter. You know, they didn't stick with it, which is what makes Jason Voorhees a good villain. You know? You gotta see, if you're going to present a horror movie or horror icon, like Leatherface, or Pennywise, or Art the Clown, heck, even Slappy the Dummy, or freaking Megan. Megan had a freaking gratifying kill. Why do you think that's gotten a sequel this summer and one of the best movies of all time? Because there's actually, like, there's rhyme, reason, and showing that actually makes her and all those other people good horror movie icons. You know? It's not just about being a killer or, like, something like that. You have to show what the killer does. You have to show them doing it. You have to show what makes them an icon. And Dexter, he's not. His setup, his kills, you only see the aftermath. I don't want to just look at blood. I want to see what the dude does. And if you've seen the horror movie Salvage, let me run you through this real quick. This is a one-off, but this shows how to make a villain. Okay? So let me just run through here. So Salvage, basically, I checked out this movie last year in August. It was a movie that I found with a 4 horror movie set. Let me look real quick. So I looked at this movie along with 4 others. It was part of a 4-pack, and this was part of it. So let me just look real quick. Okay, there we go. So it was part of a 4-pack. The movies consisted of Bloody Mary. It was a Bloody Mary sort of thing. Mortuary, Memory, and Salvage. Now, Bloody Mary and Salvage were the main 2 that I cared about, but Salvage is the one that we're talking about. So let me just run you through real quick. So Salvage, basically, this girl, Claire Parker, and her boyfriend, they get murdered, right? And apparently, it just keeps happening. You don't know what's going on at first. At first, she gets picked up. It's a dude she doesn't know. And the main villain is named Duke. But little does she know, he's a serial killer who pretends to be her dad's friend or boyfriend's friend or something like that. They get home, and then he kills her. And then it keeps happening. And she doesn't even understand it. And her boyfriend and everyone they ask around, they're trying to make sense of it all. But apparently, the dude is dead. Duke is dead. And then Claire starts to figure out more about herself. But then she keeps somehow, some way, getting killed either in the same exact place at her mother's or just somewhere else. But nobody understands what's going on. So it keeps happening, and it keeps happening. She tries to figure it out more, and then the truth reveals itself. She figures out that she is dead, and at that point, you're like, okay, is she and her boyfriend like a ghost? Is this a dream, or what's going on? And then the end of the movie is like, this is how you write a movie, okay? So she gets home, and she figures it all out. And she gets home and she tries to get her mother, but then her mother stops her. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? But then it's all revealed. Apparently, this was a punishment. This was an actual punishment from the devil. So basically what happened was Claire and her boyfriend, they're dead. They're gone. What happened was Duke, he was dead too. So this has all been taking place in a sort of hell paradox kind of making of the world that they were in, but it's hell, pretty much. And Duke, his spirit is inside the physical form of Claire Parker as punishment from when Duke actually killed Claire. And the way he killed her, apparently this is the worst thing ever, because no other villain has ever really done this. Stop me if I'm wrong, but have you ever seen someone, any horror movie icon, or anything like that, scalp a face clean off with a little knife pick or something? It's like a little hook. It's like a little handle and has a little sharp little hook on it. So that's what he used. That's his murder weapon. Have you ever seen that? Well, apparently that's the worst punishment ever, because the devil used that to punish him and basically transferred his soul, Duke's soul, into the physical form of Claire. But then you see Claire and her boyfriend standing behind this Duke, the Duke that's actually doing the murder. So it's like a fake Duke or something, or a Duke in the moment. It's basically he's living through the death of Claire that he caused over and over and over again as an eternal punishment forever. So that basically, and then the movie ends and it's like, it just happens again. And you're like, okay, so this is basically just a eternal punishment from the devil, because apparently face scalping is the worst crime imaginable, which, I mean, it makes sense. I ain't ever seen a horror movie do that. We've seen impalements, we've seen amputations, we've seen gore, we've seen water viruses, we've seen zombie apocalypses, but apparently scalping a face is the worst thing ever. And it actually shows it, you know? It doesn't show the 100% scalping, but it shows during and it shows the aftermath. That's how you write a villain, man. That if a single horror movie icon can outpace Dexter at his own game, that shows that Dexter really is pointless, because we only ever see the aftermath. Do you ever see what Dexter actually does? And Duke, this dude Duke, he did what Dexter could not. Showed how to write a villain. That's how you write a freaking villain. Scream, Friday the 13th, It, all these things is how you write a villain. And this movie doesn't have a sequel or anything because there's no need. There's no need. It's an eternal punishment because, yeah, apparently face scalping is the worst thing imaginable. My point is, the reason I'm not touching upon Dexter to answer any unmarked questions and to further my resolve in keeping to this is because if a single horror movie icon like that Salvage movie could outpace an off-screen aftermath killer like Dexter at his own game, then there's absolutely no reason to look at him. There's no point. He's worthless. He makes freaking Slappy the Dummy look simple from Goosebumps, and he could beat him at his own game. And all he did was control people. He never actually killed anybody, to my knowledge. I could be wrong, though. I'd have to re-look at all of Slappy's history, read all the books again. But I'm just saying, definitely check out that movie. It's on YouTube for free. It will, if you type in Salvage 2006 horror movie, and the first one, it will be an hour and 45 with Claire, a girl looking like this, like kind of in shock, but kind of like a sarcastic kind of look. It's weird. Or you could buy the 4-pack movie with Mortuary, Bloody Mary, Memory, and Salvage. That's up to you. Watch YouTube for free or buy the 4-pack. It's up to you. But check out that movie and you'll basically think Dexter is pointless. Now, for those of you who like Dexter, that's completely fine. I'm just saying, if you like horror like I do, like if I had a shelf of horror that I could really put up on a shelf of all Netflix movies, DVDs, and current stuff, it would be completely full. I'm telling you. That's how much horror I'm into. It's just movies like Cabin Fever and Slither. Subjects like that, like water viruses and bugs, just like that. Even the movie Sting about, like, you know, bees, like hornets and stuff like that. That movie came close to me not wanting to watch it because it's just the subject. But heavy gore and violence, I'm okay with that. Bring it all on. It's just how you write the movie and the villain that makes it good. And yes, if you like Dexter, good for you. I'm just saying, if you really appreciate horror, check out this movie, Salvage, because it's how you write a movie, and it's more importantly, what they should have done with Dexter. And the fact that they make prequels and sequels to Dexter without actually giving Dexter the actual point of interest of a horror movie villain, you have to show what makes Dexter who he is. They have almost all showed it. It's just showing how the kill is done. Show the carnage. Make him believable as an icon. And for those who actually like him and check out all that stuff, that's fine. I'm just saying they could have definitely done better. And checking out that movie, I guarantee you guys will think the same exact way. Definitely check it out. In terms of horror movies, it is probably, in my opinion, something I should have checked out a lot sooner. Not frickin' 20 years after it was made. But yeah, that's basically where we're going to end the stream. Thank you for those of you who actually, you like Jack at work. Say, huh? But yeah, basically, that's where we're going to end the stream. Thank you for those of you who are joining. Stay tuned for stuff, because like I said, I'll be done with Zombie Goku by the weekend, and I'll be putting out updates all throughout next week. The updates are going to start coming out a lot faster, too, with one-parters and stuff like that. So brace yourself for that. And with all that said, I think that's a perfect place to end. If you guys have any opinions or thoughts or ideas you want to put, or if you want to check out the movie, give me your thoughts on it, definitely do. I think I could probably use Duke in What Ifs in the future, but that's completely up to you guys. Or maybe I'll gain audience from people from that movie. I have no idea yet, or if I'm going to use him, that's for time to tell. So with all that said, I will see you guys later. And Kaz, if you want to go ahead, I'm going to actually call you right after the stream. With all that said, I think that's pretty much it. I showed you guys pics and talked about that, talked your ears off about Salvage. Like I said, definitely check out that movie. It will be definitely worth your time. And with all that said, I think that's the perfect place to end this stream. God, I was 4 hours of sleep and somehow I managed to get through all of this. That just goes to show my level of control and, like, you know, streaming and everything like that. And I will see you guys later.